Happy birthday. I'm easing my way into things. Hope you're having a great evening. Right. Yeah. Gosh. It's sad when you hit go and you suddenly go, my bladder, it just wants to go. So I probably will take a moment here before I start to relieve myself. Oh yeah, and pop my delicious drink. Yes. Bim, 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 bim. And I'll be, yeah, well. Oh, yeah. There we are. Okay. All right. Sorry. All right. Wow, I've had one sip of that drink and it's already making me all burpy. Let's wipe down the screen. A wild bunnery has already appeared inside the Pokemon community game that's inside the Twitch chat as we speak. Stop on by, link your account, and you can play along too. There we are. Wow. You know, it's funny. I find 2 pens on my desk right now, but earlier when I was looking for it, they were nowhere to be found. Well, into the link cup they go then. That way at least I can lose them inside that and go, wonder where they are. And they'll be right there in front of me. Like everything else, like my nose or my hand. Couldn't find them if they weren't attached. Alright, so now that I'm sitting here, hi. I'll be working on some more of that animation. I'm feeling a bit more chill today, less hyped up. We'll see how long that lasts until after, this. This might be all that I need. They don't sponsor me. I just really like sour drinks. And energy drinks too. But I like sour drinks. Oh my gosh. my favorite, and I did put this up on my Instagram share, is there's caramel ice cream. So there's many different types, but there's this one particular one. I forgot, it was some like caramel swirl with this bunny logo. I can't remember the name of the brand either. It's just the blue bunny thing. If you know what that is, awesome. But the big point is caramel ice cream. And NOS has a green apple flavored drink. I absolutely love making this caramel apple float. It is amazing. It is so good. And I'm now suddenly craving it because, like, oh my goodness, I need more of that. But I haven't been able to find the green apple NOS for a little bit. It's becoming harder and harder for me to find. The one place that I could find it always stopped carrying it. So, need to go and forge and look further and look for a new source of my green apple NOS. Otherwise, I'm stuck with just regular stuff, which is not so great in ice cream. Not really, no. I might down like a few of these because, like, I've been feeling like I got up early today. Been a little bit, you know, doing a lot of work. It's nice when you have a good functioning day and you go, my goodness, I've achieved a lot. And then you sit back and go, oh my gosh, the day is still not done. But yes. Oh, that's right. I gotta get this off of my screen. Put you to the side. Bring that down so I can see you elsewhere. And there we go. Alright. So, don't mind me as I sit here and fiddle fuddle. So, down below, I do have the Discord open. If you want to join in, by all means, please come on by. Ask me a direct question. You can also put it in the Twitch chat. You can put it on YouTube. You can also then put it in Facebook, because we're streaming all around. If you have anything at all, otherwise, I'll sit here, and I will do wacky voices, because I'm just talk to myself. I do it even if I don't have a crowd of people around. I end up like talking to myself. And if I'm in the middle of a crowd, I look more crazy. That's it. You know, me, myself, and I, we always entertain ourselves. Yeah, tonight is a bit more laid back. I'm trying to be as mellow as possible. Less hyped up. Like I said, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. You know what? There was one thing I forgot. Yep, that's right. I'm sitting here and I'm going, what is it that I'm missing? And it is the video itself. My reference video, my play blast. The thing that I created so I can go, yes. I know what timing I'm working with. So a lot of today actually is going to be more of blocking and making sure I get shape changes right, because what I was doing before was very quick sketch to kind of get a feel and get initial timing down. Now I'm going into the next phase and I really want to make sure my shapes are right, because that was one glaring aspect to me when I made the play blast, is that the end of my thing, it wasn't so great. I believe come Thursday or actually, you know what? We'll make it Saturday. And on Saturday, I'll be working on the Pokemon drawing. So I'll bring that up again. There's a Pokemon contest, if you haven't heard, that is for the Pokemon community trading card game, not community credit, community. I can't even remember what it's at. But it's a Pokemon trading card game. They have a contest going on until the end of the year. It's actually until January something. But you were able to first submit come October 16th. So it's already been open for a few weeks. You can submit up to 3. It's free. You don't have to do any entry fee. So by all means, I do strongly suggest put in some time, draw a few things. They have a bunch of frequently asked questions. I will go more over it on Saturday again, and even show you the 10 Pokemon if you don't already. But you should also be able to find it elsewhere. Pokemon trading card game contest, and they should be able to actually find it pretty quickly that way, if I'm not mistaken. That was one way. And again, I will actually probably, if I remember, where's that pen? Write myself a reminder, and I will repost that. So repost Pokemon trading card contest info. So this way you can have access to it too and have an opportunity to enter in, because by all means we should all take a chance and see if we get, have any chance of being on one of the trading card games. But this is one thing I'll say right now. You cannot post it, live according to their frequently asked questions. So in this case, I will go over design. I'll go over some of my ideas, and I might sketch out a few ideas, renditions, but I will not commit to drawing it on live, because it can't exist on social media. I could probably get away with doing like the sketching and all that stuff easily, and then submitting the final product, but I won't be able to go through all of the inking and coloring. But I'll, by all means, Saturday, I have to sit down and take the time to think it out. Maybe you can come along and join, and we have the opportunity to flip ideas back and forth, see if we can make something. But it is in the day of a life of Pokemon out of the 10 that they have offered. I tried to kill time, but I did not pay attention to the fact that I was actually trying to open up the video, which is right there. There is audio to this, so I apologize if it suddenly just starts playing. I have no clue if it's going to scream at me. So that's another feature of this one, is that it has the audio for the timing. Actually, just to make sure, is this... Oh no, that's the play blast of the sequence without being cut in. That's the wrong one. Or that's not the final one. That easy. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. There. Because I put it into a nice folder to keep it organized. There we go. No, I don't want to use that program. I swear, I have to get better. And just say no, VLC. I want VLC media. Yep, there's the one with the audio and everything that's necessary. Like I said, this is a play blast. It gives me a great sense of the timing I'm working towards. I just have to get the shape towards the end just right. So a lot of this is going to be working from the front end to the back end and getting the shape change I want over the course of time. So when I go back through and hand draw them, I have the exact shape, the exact where the shoulders are, where everything, like, so I'm going to be working out that quickly so I can go back through and do the sketch, which actually, oh my gosh, those little burps. Sit up. Gotta sit up. That's what it is. So I'll be working through developing the, how about, so as this is, so this is the video. Boom, start. First cut, play, blast, MPEG, yeah. Have it repeating, and then there it goes into the transition. And then we fade back into the reel, and that's part of what I need to get synced up very, very distinctively, so it plays back through as it should. So again, this is from a documentary. I have the link. I should link it. I'll link it so you can take a look. It's only from the introductory video of it. They have not completed the project yet, so by all means, go support them. I am terrible with the name of it. Why can't I remember the name? But a lot of these sketches and frames I could possibly use in the final, but this is all play blast. This is all drawn to really kind of get an idea of that sense of timing I want for it, so that way I can work that out. But because like right here I have shapes, and I have so many different shapes that are going on that I need to make sure it's all consistent beginning to end. But I have my timing down. I know how fast I want to move, which reminds me, yep, I always have everything on that screen before I flip it over to here. It's just easier when you can like alt tab and just tap with the pen. Like, play this, do this. Which reminds me, oh, that's right. That's right, I upgraded to this screen, and these pens don't need to be recharged like the other one I had. That's right. I just realized, like, oh gosh, when's the last time I recharged this? It's like, I remember having a few streams where the pen died on me in the middle, so it's not fun. But that's why I had two. You had to back up. So I have two of these too. I'm trying not to down this very quickly, but I feel like. Actually, that's right. I want to pause that so we can have the audio in this.
I want to get him my own. That's what it's always been about.
So again, I'm using this to develop a transition.
So good for himself.
So you can see how it cuts right in, and that's the emotion I want. I want this build up.
For one moment, he just needs to take the time out to really so good for himself.
And boom. So that's what I'm doing this animation for, is to because the original cut actually had it where it went from him talking, our main focus of the documentary, this this artist that was once a convict that now has been released, and now he's seeking to be an artist in the world and find a new beginning. So from here it has him, and then it goes into this, and this is where I saw it's like, oh, that's really cool. And the editor had already done this. As soon as I saw this cut where it got close up to this drawing, I knew what the editor was trying to do. They wanted to transition to this, but where you see my animation occurring, it actually went from this cut to this to the gentleman that's doing the audio, which I believe is one of his friends. I don't know officially because, again, it was just what I could piece from the trailer. But one of his friends talking about how he needs to take that opportunity to progress, to grow. And so from that, I said, it'd be great if he just narrated over the top and we saw his friend. This, because like, to me, this is like a self-image. He felt like, this is what I want. I wanted to be this open and free. And I saw it going, with the talking about the friend. Definitely have to redraw some of that. And then it cut to this. It cut from the friend to then cutting to a panning behind him, standing at the rock at the edge of the ocean here. So it's like, it'd be just great to have that feeling of the art moving with the transition instead of cutting to the friend. You just fade from here, have the camera move around the character, and like, even part of what I was thinking too, which would simplify for me, is instead of doing like adding in the background and trying to match and sync it up. Which I'm thinking like more so what I would end up doing is grabbing the footage and then doing kind of an artsy thing with the editing software. So like After Effects, where I could do that to ease my transition, or highlight more so that his friend was talking about being alone, and it's that transition is going from blank screen to then realizing and having that moment of open freedom and just that wide open space. This case, this whole world laid out in front of you. So again, that's what I'm trying to keep with this transition with the animation to go from here into this. And this is where I'm talking about. It's like when you see that this is unsynced with the original. So I do need to fix that. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact of where I was originally going to like cut in was almost like, because I did shift around a few things. I think this final frame is supposed to be where the other I messed around the timing to go should go into this and then be closer in by this point. And it's like, yeah, true. It fits with what's going on because I have to, because there's 3 key moments. One, transition from the real life footage or real world footage to the animation. So I need to pull the drawing out of the page is one part of the transition. Then there is the whole Doppler turn. Now we have here. And then I have the zoom, we're placing the animation, the art piece in the real world and then transitioning into the real world again. So there's a bit of this third part, this last portion here is what I feel is going to be really the bread and butter, because if this transition out is done right, done well, it'll make the whole thing. It'll finish it, because everything's building up to this particular point. So this is the hero moment. This is the moment where the animation really plays the major role. That's how I'm adapting. How would I actually make it the larger portion of the screen so it makes more sense? So you can see it up there. But yeah, the point is that I need to make sure that this end is very, very keyed in. Portions are right, and I really want to make sure I get the character first. Then I'll worry about the background, the what is it? Getting the right moment, because I believe one of my better bets is to make a panel that starts at a certain point. Like here, where I'm saying like the environment introduction, so the hand swipes and we got landscape. And this will be a panel in this case, as this moves on, all this transition will pan into this. So we'll go, I'll fix it so it's one long image. So all I have to do is key in the timing of that panel in the background moving. I also said that there's a strong possibility that I could forego that and just let the drawing of him stand. So my first priority is get him keyed in, get the size and shapes through the whole process of what I want, and get that keyed in. Do the drawings, get this character all set, and get that animation spot on. Then see about adding in the background afterwards, because it will be a separate layer, separate panel, separate thing that gets moved along the way. And in a lot of ways, I can take where I finish this, this transition, I can snapshot that final frame and go, this is where my end frame is, where the final fade occurs. where I'm done with the animation. This is the final, where it needs to come to an end. Because a lot of this, whole background, I feel I can do a bit of like a fisheye effect and get it to be warped in a sense. And that's why I'm kind of thinking like maybe I go into like a 3D modeling software like Blender and I can put that whole thing in there and then get the camera to move along it with the right effect of the lens, and I can effectively change the lens as it animate the lens so it transitions and pushes around. I might be overthinking it. It's one way I'm thinking that I could do that effect. Or I just draw out a 2D panel that has that effect to it. How the camera should be moving across it. So it would be an optical illusion in the end. It really would have to be, because I can't just make one flat panel and expect it to go, yeah, you get this whole transition turnaround working. But again, that is more of like the addition, because I'd like to have that transition. I'd like to add in the world around. But it is not a necessity, I feel, compared to making sure this character and the transition and the shape is spot on. So, just making my priority list, we're going to make sure that this character's shape change works and is consistent. So, hey, look at that. Other people are going live too. So with that, I have this over to the side. I'm going to turn off the audio because I'll be probably playing it periodically for myself here. But as you can see, this is what I currently have set up. If it'll play it nicely. Where you can see it does sync up from what I have, but I need to do some more. So what is this? Is this? Because there's no extra frames between here of the actual footage. And then I have this, which is still, the background is off sync, but it's even more so in this when I try to link it up to the video. So I do know that that transition from this movement into this shot is going to be my most crucial and requires the most coordination by me. So it'll be probably like the last portion, because I can easily get this done. Because not only that, but actually like this first frame I drew, I can keep. A lot of these frames I can, but I want to make sure, because like I'm still like, all I'm doing, like it's not until this frame that I actually start turning the body. I feel, yes, pull out, and right about here, when the fade is coming to its completion, and then boom, the fade is done, we go into the next portion of the animation. I would like to see myself doing the turn probably sooner, and maybe even fading faster, because that's also another thing, is like the fade in and out of what I have is probably where this is getting desynced. So I have to be more precise on how long of a transition of going from animation into the real that I can be. So that's one major thing. So what I'll be doing this evening is probably, because I'm not going to get a lot of this done, but is probably work with the shapes I have here. And what I say by that is I actually am going to just draw in like red boxes and cylinders. It's not the best when it comes to sketching out a character, but this is a form of which is going to help me keep dimensionally size and portion and direction that the whole base shape should be. And I say it this way because, like, again, for when it comes to sketching, you won't need as much detail about it as I'm going to try to do. Because, like I said, I want to take this shape and I want to make sure it matches these shapes. So that's my key point, is when I have a shape change that's going on. So I want these shapes to morph into the midsection, and then from my midsection out to the next, set of footage. So it's taking the sketch and allowing it to shape change appropriately, because there's a lot of it not going on right here. I mean, I did an okay job of just freehanding drawing them in. I think they're pretty good, but I want to be more precise with this next rendition. And right now, I have a lot of frames that give me a sense of timing. How far along do I need to be in this rotation before I'm getting behind? So my timing right now is pretty okay. I can still tweak it, and I more than likely will. So then this, I'm going to reword to animatic. So for my purposes, it's not my major keyframes, it's my animatic. It's the what is it? It's the playbast version of your storyboard, is a good way of putting it. Because the storyboard, you're gonna go, I want this shot, and then I'm gonna go into this shot. I want this type of transition between these two. And like, no, I've an animatic which is timed out currently to the first playthrough that I made. So now I'm gonna make a more lesser detailed and shape change version, so I can sync up with my final shots here. And that's really what I'm trying to key into, is make sure the shape change is best for the end, but at the same time is consistent throughout the whole thing. Because like between this and this, you can see how much further I've tipped the character forward now that the camera's at a certain place. So that's also one of the key things, is that when I do this shape change, I'm looking to take this character off the page. So right here. And how best to start positioning them so I can shift them from 2D to a bit more three-dimensional, then back into the real world 3D. So there's a heavy amount going into this transition, and right now I'm feeling it out. So it's a bit, in some cases it is a bit of taking a step back, but I wanted to storyboard my timing of what I felt, and that's what I did this first playthrough. Now it's time to actually go through and make the very clean, very consistent part of it going across. And I did take my time with several of these frames to make sure I got like as close as possible. And many of them could remain as actual keyframes, or major keyframes for the ending. Because like this one works pretty well if I was to transition into this. So it's like, let's see how well it syncs. Yeah, see, it's still rather far away. Boom, boom. So I have my play blast. We're going to go in and we're going to do since this is all being to keep with a particular style, this is all going to be, wait a second. Is that just a random? No, it's not. Because that is, yes. That was me discussing. Let's put you well below. Oh, that's right, because I locked it. That's why you do that. Put down below. This was me kind of showing the effects of speed based upon direction and where, and the whole idea of, well, let's just put I went over that on a previous video about what effect I'm trying to do and how it should look. Is that Doppler effect? Since I have the objects that get closer move faster, so I have an object that speeds up and then suddenly starts slowing down. So it's because it's going that kind of thing. So I have to, because of how I'm using the camera, I have to keep that in mind. Is the speed of which I'm going into that's why you see these frames, these gaps, because this part slows down just a little bit as it's going through the transition, because the arm takes a moment to get closer to the camera, and as soon as it does, it just whips on by, because it's so close. Objects that are closer move faster, and those that are further away move slower because of the field of view based upon the camera. So there you go, another little quick one. And so these will be shape change keyframes, and these are to keep consistency with all of my shapes of this character. So I will start from here and move on out. So I'm going to build up, this is what the chest should be like, and these are just going to be blocks, these are going to be shapes. And in particular, I'm going to try to make them three-dimensional. So, with that, yay, I got my red. Just need a pencil. Go down to 12 for these. Nice. And we're going to lock the animatic frame because we know we're done with that. So, let's insert new keyframe. So like I said, we know the direction. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, pen, eraser, good. Actually, just go a little bit smaller. So I don't need the video right now. We'll go ahead. Kick in the music again. Do do do. So again, I'm going to make it a bit oversized. And I'm even going to try to make sure I keep. So right down to the chin. Right down to the chin. To the back of the head. Even this comes down. Now, as for this, is like the back of the head is wider than the front, so we will keep that in sync with this as a possibility, because the same thing is going to happen with the chest. Now, again, I'm trying to find the shapes inside a two-dimensional drawing, so I can best make the transition from this flat shapes to three-dimensional movement. So I'm just doing this for my own sake of keeping consistency of position. Actually, I do really want this to be bigger. I want it to be a cage of the head because I want to know that everything is inside of it. So back of the head. Then we got chin. Skin opens up. Front of head. And this is where it gets odd, because then the back of the head, because it's actually more consistent to this, where we're going to make, except for that, where this cage kind of works like this. So I'm going to draw all the sides, even, because I need to make sure it comes across jawbone. So when I shape change this, it works. So we're going to go, I'm going to cage out his chest, so that this is actually going to be the back Whereas for the front of the chest, back up to this, because everything seems to be a little bit smaller. Trapezoid. So we're going to cut off at the waist here. We do want to. Because even for this, we have this cutting across because the pecs. And then he does have the stomach forward enough. Where the front end will be behind the back. Because he's got an arch in his back. So the front of it is arching forward, so there's more prominence there. Which is kind of odd because I should just go stop doing that. I'm trying to keep these shapes so they can shape and change to a three-dimensional object. So this is part of the whole process of this transition is I'm trying to figure out, okay, well this is the front of the block. That's the back of the block. These are all lining up. And I'm really I'm gonna redo this because technically, yes, this should go right in front. Right across the shoulders. And come across the front, which is smaller than the back. And I can see this line needs to come out further. I'll do the same with this one. The back of my character is larger than the front, but his... And then he has the pecs that really prominently bring out that. We're going to take away the... So what I probably should do is flip over blue. See, we're going to get fancy, and we're going to go, this is the front end, this is the back end. So when I draw on the blue part, that is actually behind. So it'd be the same thing with these lines to this line. It's not visible at all from the front. Then we go, give me that, give me more red, give me the red. That way we're doing this too. The red is in front of blue. There. This is again, just me trying to make sense of the shapes to make the cleanest transition possible. Let's go to the blue again. It's actually fun enough we should be able to see this. I'll just draw over the red where I believe. And then there's another one because I need to, again, top of the hips. So we do have, yeah, I do see it in front. This does get lower. Gonna be in the front. And this is there. Because everything's kind of pointed forward, is broad back but flat. I'm being very what is it, how can I say that? It's very subjective how I'm looking at this. Because I mean, you could be looking at it as like, no, that's wrong. That's different. That's not how I see it. Like that's right. It probably will be. Because I'm trying to block it out and understand where my character is consistently transforming from one to the other. So again, this is just me trying to block out that character. So I know where I will be. Yeah, we're gonna end up drawing over. So I'm only trying to understand the 3D space that this takes up. So when I make this, so we're just gonna come out fully. I'm gonna make the full box. It's his hand. Actually, do the palm, then do the fingers. Because as I'm looking at this, like I don't see a lot of these shapes, so I have to start remembering like where is it in comparison to the rest. So I'm trying to take a two-dimensional object and make a 3D box shape to encapsulate it, so when I pull it out from the 2D shape, I can make sense of how the shape change of the body is. So this might be my evening. Because I'm looking at it, it's like, I don't like that. I need to rework that, rethink this portion. And that's what's going to be, is that I'm trying to make sure I transition this as good as possible so I can properly understand how this character wants to come to life. So as I understand 3D, the secondary shape, the other side of the box should be smaller, which is why this is wrong. Which even like for the case of like the chest, I have to make, yeah. I have to, oops. What'd I do there? I feel I need to rethink this. Most of animation and everything is part of problem solving, because you're trying to resolve how best to portray the information, the silhouettes, the underlying aspects of understanding what's going on. And I really do feel that is not doing it. So I believe this truly has to be just two-dimensional shapes, which then I give meaning to as I tell it, like, okay, now I have these 2D shapes. Let's turn them and then draw in the rest of the box that we should be able to see, so I can say, this is how thick the body is, and this is how thick it should be here, 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 here. So, starting off again, we're just doing base shapes. So the chest, very wide, very trapezoid. And we're going to use these shapes, these 3D shapes, to always understand how his body sits in this world. So we got another trapezoid we're going to use right across the hips. So again, these are all going to be 2D shapes, which I can then take and make three-dimensionally as we move the camera around the object. Now this particular shape, though, I do have an understanding, because we got this, and we know that this is the whole front of the head. So boom, we understand that's what it should be. And we understand the back of the head is a little bit bigger. So we already do have a bit of the 3D for this based upon character. This is the only portion of the character that we have any understanding of the three-dimensional space, because we know where the chin is, we know where the neck is, and we know where the back of the neck is. We also then know where the front of the head and how it comes to the back, so we have that bit of understanding. This section might not be understood, but we at least know this section where the chin and the neck are and the back of the head would be. Let's go in that. Yep, so we got arm that goes that to that. And then this, because we're cutting off the upper arm and lower arm, we already know that there's quite a bit of a shape difference. Based upon that, I'm trying to make a minimalist, take that down, minimalist approach to the shapes of this character, and that way we can show the shape change over time, and then use that as our key moment to, okay, which frames I have to draw, how I'm drawing them, how it exists in this world. So as we have this, we also know that and then of course this to this, that. To be honest, there is going to be another shape, because there's triangle and then leads to lower legs, which for now these are cut off. Same thing with our hand shapes, so we're going to go hand, which is currently stubby. So as it is, I have these shapes, and then I have my next shapes, which I starting to have to go, yep, I have to draw on the hands. Because really, as soon as I get 1, 2 to here, I might even have to do another transition where I fade in the hands, or I don't draw them in at all. And we don't actually see the hands till we get to more of these shots. Now this is a consistent one up to this point. And I'm even pulling off some duplicate frame. Perfect. Which, and officially, I should just go in and draw it. But these are all consistent, so. Hey! I scared you, Phoenix? How did I scare you? Is that a ginger crack? No, how are you doing this evening? Oh, yeah. I usually do things that are most frightening. Like talk. But I know it's unusual. I mean, especially seeing a ginger in the world interacting with people and functioning. Right? So that is the shape. Shape of our character. I really do feel like. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna have to draw it because it looks like my drawing wasn't a copy of the previous one. Definitely was not. Well, that's also another fact. Is like we're not gonna follow what our previous frames are. We're following this shape change in position more so. So from here to here, it gets larger and larger and larger. It moves and transitions upward. Okay. Then here's the point where we start making our push and turn. Push and turn. So I'd even go up to that point. So by this point, so we're jumping, 10 frames, jumping 10 more frames forward. And then saying, this is where I should be in the turn. And then by 35 and 40. See, because I do like this particular shot. I really want to adapt it to work. And I will somehow. I'm going to fix that backhand. That left hand back there. Yes. I am the boogeyman. Oh. Why is that? Drink some water so I'm not chugging down my nos so quickly. So where? Okay, it has to be a bit slower. Butterfingers. Bubbles. Yeah, because see, like, I can see the shape is not very consistent. Because, like, from here to here, the body gets so flat at one point. Gosh, now I'm starting to think, should I just go into Blender? Blender, make a box based upon the two-dimensional shape and go, okay. Actually, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. It'll save me time because then I won't have to think too hard. Because I can just pull it in, make boxes, and then animate a camera going around said boxes that are of the shape of the two-dimensional shape. All right. Because then I can take that from like an orthographic view, which should be really flat, to perspective view. And that's kind of part of the transition I need to do, is go from orthographic, which is very flat, like your two-dimensional design is in a 3D in a 3D software is usually would be best considered orthographic. Best example of it is South Park. They actually do that in like Maya, and it's set to a very orthographic view. At least the early stages. Now they got a lot more. They got a lot more playroom with what they do. But yeah, if I take it from orthographic, which is here, that flat shape, and then pull it out to make sure because I can make the orthographic look like this is the exact same shape of these blocks that I want. And then it'll already have the three-dimensional design, because each of these blocks will already have their full shape. Do I dare fire up Blender and start making those shapes? I still need to relearn the hotkeys, but that would be my struggle for the evening. Because I'm very tempted. See, I was reading an article recently. Like, the biggest thing, the difference between quality of animation is time spent. So, getting like having an animator get 2 to 3 seconds done a day compared to 5 to 8 seconds done a day significantly changes the quality. If I'm allowed to spend 8 hours working on 2 seconds, 3 seconds, the quality of my work should go up significantly. Because I get to take more time. I'm making sure these lines are nice. But then you're telling me it's like, all right, so the same amount of time you took for those 2-3 seconds, we need you to make sure you get through 5 to 8 seconds instead. Suddenly you have to make a lot more quicker decisions, move a lot faster, and quality goes down for that purpose. So it's a give or take. It also then depends on the artist, because the artist is usually is used to working at a rapid pace and can produce high quality stuff at a faster pace. Obviously they're going to animate faster. Just is. So the one thing I keep thinking is, like, if I keep jumping around to do different programs to do different things, how much faster am I really going to be? You know, so much for that NOS keeping me awake. My goodness. Maybe I should just chug it. I got several more. But if you haven't already, check out Phoenix. You do 5 days a week. I want to say it's
5 days per week is equivalent to 10 days per fortnight.
Really? I swear. This is not the first time she's done it. I'm not even hitting the power button. I may be saying seriously too much and then slurring it. Rude. Alright, well, again, I have to make the first steps and go, this is the shape changes I want to see, and then I need to push it to the next. That's what a lot of this is drawing is, drawing is just redrawing. You draw one thing, and then you redraw it again with more detail, you draw it again with more detail, and eventually you get a final product. But it's a lot of redrawing, because then you also then redraw that and go, oh, I drew that like a year ago, I'll draw it again now. Ah! So let's use this frame that I currently drew and develop and understand how the 3D shapes should function. Because this... Come on. So it'd essentially be the front. This has to go far enough back. Then it also gets thinner towards the bottom, thicker towards the top. Now we have this part of the shoulder raised higher from the perspective I have. Is it what I want? No. Because how I want to come at this overall shape. So this gets going past. Whereas this would be so trying to draw the rest of this shape. This really should be down back there. I feel like you may have gone a little too far. You've gone too far. More like that. Just a little bit. So then the back is gonna cross there. Then this comes in. Now we do have that. It should be smaller than the one in front, which actually doesn't seem to be coming across like that. Like this section should be smaller than here. But we're only by some slight amount right now because it's only a very minuscule turn. So then we're gonna, because it really is the whole back is arced like this. This is a bit of an exaggeration, but still, that's the point. The back is arced like that, so we have this part of these two showing a bit. And of course these go out because they're another set of trapezoids, which actually feels like that came out a little too much. There we go. And from the design of the character, these don't seem to get that much bigger or wider, but I think I need to, because again, I'm trying to take their two-dimensional character and make it three-dimensional so I can move a camera around them. So in the end, I have to take some liberties to change this character for the camera. Get the right angle. Alright, so that then means that this arm turned in smaller, bigger. We're just going by a little bit. So again, front, back. Back. Nope, 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 nope. Can't be. Okay. Which means this, because we can see underneath this arm because of how the camera's coming at them. Up higher then. Actually go down. So as this shape wants to be made, it comes outward. Go up higher. Actually, it should come up further. It does shrink. That's again, that's part of what I'm. You remember, it actually probably lines up pretty perfectly, just like that. I should go in and make blue lines. Draw in blue too. So, if you're just joining me, I'm making shapes so I can understand my shape change, because that was part of the play blast that I have. It's not quite making. It's not making the most sense for this character at the moment, because I'm taking 2-dimensional space and making it 3-dimensional with a camera, 3-dimensional for a camera movement. So the one key thing is I can't change the initial design too much, but I can transition it to change, and that's where these shape changes are. I'm trying to be as consistent as possible, so I know when this box shape here, this whole box shape here will match this box shape here. So that's really what's going on right now, is just trying to make sure that that is synced up as best I can. And part of me keeps thinking that maybe what I'll do is I'll go into Blender and make these boxes as they should be. And see if I'm still consistent. Because a lot of what this is going to be is I can create those boxes, I can create these shapes, so I can understand how I want to transition. So what I'd do is I'd orthographically in Blender, which is practically just keeping it 2-dimensional, make those shapes. Make those shapes with with a 3D square. And then just change the perspective from orthographic to perspective. And then start doing a movement of the camera around it. Because in the end I do want to take a 2-dimensional character and make it 3D essentially. The more I talk about it, the more I feel like that's exactly what I should be doing. This is why you should use Blender more. I'm just not as confident with the changes because I updated it from, I used an older version, updated it, and then suddenly a lot of my plugins were, oh yeah, we don't have an update yet for you. And it's like, what? You mean all the stuff that I know from my button bindings and everything can't be updated? It's like, nah, it can't be. I go, no. So I've been looking for my plugins and updates, which actually I think that was a good month ago last time. So maybe I should look, see if they finally updated. And make my version of Blender function for me. Or I just pull out a hot, just a little hot list of, here's all the buttons, here's what Blender, what they developed. And have my little cheat sheet to the side. Top of them legs. And it's like the only thing you can actually see the other side of at this stage now. But otherwise, let's see if I was to turn this off. I go boom. Because right now all I see is shape. Yeah, I don't need it, but I do like drawing blue. And this is, I really feel this is again, it's nice to just fully reference where I believe the lines that are in the back compared to lines that are in the front. And just, you know, even for you at home that's watching there, you can understand without really fussing in your head, flipping it around or trying to think. You can just look at it and go, blue lines are in the back, red lines are in the front. We can all live with that in this 3D crazy world. At the same time, the blue is just going to indicate that this line is hidden and behind something else. That's really what it's going to indicate. So we're just trying to make sense of the world here. One little line at a time. I'm not doing anything too crazy. That's all. And if you have 3D glasses on, you can put those on and they'll work perfectly fine. No, I'm kidding. Don't quote me on that. I don't believe it. It won't work. If it did, then it was all planned. If it didn't, I knew it wouldn't. Yeah. 3D glasses won't make this suddenly 3D. Please don't think that. But it would be neat to see this in 3D glasses now. It's like, I wonder how weird and how different. I'm seeing there's a separation of what I drew. Why is there so much? These two boxes. There we go. And this one. So that means you. And you there. And even you. Are behind the other. You're behind. You're behind. So blue lines are hidden, are the ones that are behind. While the red ones are in the forefront, taking the heat. Ideally, I should draw on the blue lines first, then the red, but it doesn't hurt that I go back over and draw blue lines in after the fact. So again, blue lines are the ones hidden. To just give this more three-dimensional sense without looking too hard at it. So this is where even like perspectively inside your own mind's eyes, how we're trying to work this out. All right, so we have 2D shape that's enlarged, and then we're starting to transition. One of our next major transition is, oh, that's right, because it's not on, is this particular shape. So we're going to make sense of this one with red first. Because this is actually giving us another form of 2-dimension that we now have to make sure we render out appropriately. And then, actually, I definitely need to change that. Well, not really, because I mean the art. Because like I was showing in this one, That arch in the back is this. And that's where we got here is that arch. But we need to make sure the square fits the shape. That's what we're doing here. No barrel roll. No, not doing barrel rolls. We're gonna make a square. Okay, good. I did lock this because, you know, suddenly you get that sense of moments like, did I lock the frame? Did I lock the layer? All right, now here we still have a 3D shape. So we're gonna make that 3D shape. Again, we do have, because usually it's a bit awkward, but it's still. And the shoulder of this is gonna be pretty much right there. All right, so that is one portion there. Now we get to make the forearm, which gets to come out. And then it too narrows towards the back. Because we always had, because again, it's rounding towards the back. I could make it a full shape, but I'm not gonna. No. It rounds to the back. It's mainly like how I see it in this perspective is that it's unseen portion of it, but we're still trying to make sense of where it lies in the world. So then we have the palm. This even gives me some sense of like, did what I draw originally, does it still make sense? And as the palm lies, no. I like the look of the palm, but there's still something off about it because this box needs to be positioned differently in this world. Yeah, because actually now that I think about it, it's like, I think I just drew the rocks wrong. Yep. I can draw that. For that section, this section, which... redraw some of my lines. So here's also another aspect of this is that I still want the silhouette to make sense. And that's important. So the arm might be correct, but the chest is not. Because if I was to take this to properly be... Because, I mean, maybe the head is that one, but the chest... Because I am showing that other arm. Essentially, we are. the shape. Just so you can understand. Based fun arrows. Essentially this. Because we're coming outward, but we still have this whole shape. Like, you know what? I'll even see if I can draw it in down there. So we got an arrow. Because the hands are the same. So we got arrow down there. Essentially, that's what the angle of what I'm trying to do. The hand is really close. The hand is correct based upon that arrow, but the chest and the other hand do not match. In this case, the chest is really what's forcing this perspective to be off. So this is a piece where it's like, I can keep the hand, I can keep the arm, but I have to make the chest work. Because I have this, and then I go right into this. There's very little. Very little shape. Very little shape and nothing of understanding. That's what I have to do. I have to keep all this understood. Silhouette, silhouette, silhouette. Silhouette, 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 silhouette. I mean, and this is a pretty extensive animation because I'm trying to make it very clean. 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, then to real life. Because, I mean, I could just, because that's what I felt for this transition. I can't make a 2D object just kind of go, hey, Doppler effect, and then suddenly be blank because it's flat, and then you just see the paper go by. I could easily animate that because I can take this first shot and just simply take it and just shape change the major 4 points. I can shrink that far end, or I can shrink the end that's like right above me. I think I got my position, but either the right side will get larger while the left side will get smaller. I could do that shape change and keep it 2-dimensional and then have it go to where it suddenly gets flat and then you don't see anything and then you see it gets to the other side. So I have more of a transition that looks like it's a page turn. I could do that, but quite frankly, I'm doing this also as a challenge for myself to take a 2-dimensional object, do hand-drawn sketches, and transition it from one form, 2-dimensional, into 3D, because that's really what I'm trying to get is the image that's done, that's the limited perspective, and then pull it out, pull it into the real world, have it transition, and have it become part of the real world, which this artist is part of. So taking their design, their form, and transition over. Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky process. All right, I finished that cam. Let's see. So given how I want to see this object, because this should be, what's it? I don't think I'm going to fit it left. I was like, down, and I was like, I'm drilled to pick. It's left. That should be right. So this is the left of the body, right of the body. And that's how I've drawn the arms, but I have not drawn the body to that form, that shape. So, because to be honest, what I know what I did and you could probably go back to the footage, is I drew the body, and then I drew in this arm and hand. You know, there is another thing. There's two things I can do. I can make all the blocks and put them into... You know what? I'm now realizing my best bet is to make a stationary camera and just have my arms wide open and just spin in place. Based upon how high this camera is, I have to match when I'm standing forward and facing the camera as best as I can to this moment. Because even in my little rendition of the camera, where it's further away, we zoom in, and then we do this transition around and then zoom out. Is I could either do that or I do a sweeping motion. So there's two different camera movements that I'm trying to figure out for this shape change. And again, the other camera movement is this, where I block it out more so. Camera moves in. Then camera takes a fixed distance I did that arrow wrong, because then I have zoom that way. Or again, my object is this two-dimensional character that has a three-dimensional portion made to him. So I do this as my... So again, this is from here to here. It's fixed. So it's consistent all around. That's shape of the curve. Whereas for this one down here, one takes on a different idea of continuous movement through, instead of and then outward. I feel like this has that more Matrix feel. This top one here has that Matrix feel, because they had that. Because even they had it where it was like fixed, and they had several cameras that snapped a shot all simultaneously in that curve. I believe that's how they did it. I think that's how they explained it, because it should be. They had several cameras that were all around in that one moment that snapped the shot. Yes. So essentially, I would be doing something fairly similar to that effect. Is that I have this, and then essentially pull that character from 2-dimension to 3-dimension to then have this fixed camera go from straight on looking at him to then a fixed distance around. Whereas for what I developed is this. My timing and positioning of the character has that more to, more of that type of transition. So I really do need to make a choice. Which camera movement do I want to do? Do I want to do more fixed movement? Because that's what I'll call this. This is fixed movement, and it's really more. Because this goes. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna then do the rotation around at a consistent distance from the object, and then I'm gonna zoom outward, which is more mechanical. So it definitely definitely does not leave for like more motion. So I guess like the fixed movement will be easier. Whereas for this is the fluid movement. And this has is more organic. Because we're trying to push from one end to the next and not really Ideally the fluid movement is really what we want. That one will take a lot longer to do though. Because there's a shift in perspective along the way. Because I know that I could sit there and I could if I was to record myself, I could record myself doing the fixed movement. The fluid movement, if I'm the object that's moving, I would have to start further away and then as I'm turning, walk towards the camera to then swipe my hand like nearly in front of it and then turn away and walk away from it to get the zoom out. That's so it's more fluid movement. This is where like actually doing probably a blocked out version of my character and moving the camera around it will give me a better sense of the perspective and shape change that's occurring than just trying to sit here and look at what I'd already drawn and figure it out further. To realize then that I need to take an opportunity tomorrow and record myself doing it because I can't quite do it right now. Or could I? Not really. Because I'll have to move a bunch of stuff. Get the camera set up. Have the green screen behind me. And walk to and from it. Well, given that, I do need just a brief moment. Just a brief moment. I've drank a lot. I'm gonna get myself another energy drink so I can get really, really hyper and see how I'm gonna work on the next bit of this. So there will be a brief moment where I will walk away as I go to the bathroom too. Because I'm bouncing in my seat, trying to find my schnaz so I can give at least a timer. But yeah, I really do feel like now that I have my play blast, I have an idea of what it is that I'm working on, how I want to see it. Now I actually have to make sure that the movement makes sense. And some of the best things you can do is record yourself doing it, and that's essentially a version of rotoscoping where you take live footage as reference and you, over the top of it, draw in what you want. In this case, I can use that. I can understand the shape because I go, oh, that's where this muscle folds into there. This forearm's here. Hand should be like this. And I have a lot of dynamic movement because there's also the fact that the hands start palm open and then roll forward in this character at a point. So I need to, by the time my hand comes across the camera, it needs to be up and faced before and then swipe. Because that's also part of the transition is this character from 2 dimensions has open palms up. Whereas for our end position is open palms facing forward. Yes. Where did Snazzy There it goes. It just never brought itself to the front. Come on up front, buddy. 11. Ooh, it is such... It's in a great month, you know? November is just the best. For all of you that don't know, I'm going to put in 10 minutes. Sorry. It's my birthday month. So I'm going to take about a 10 minutes break. I'm going to go get something to drink, go to the bathroom, and I'm going to take a moment to consider what it is that I need to do this evening to make this animation work. So enjoy the lovely music that's probably transitioning to a new one. Hi, I'm back. I'm here.
Uh,
With a belch and burp. By far, one of the best things I can ever give somebody, if you're ever going like, I need an idea. The Animator Survival Kit, this book is amazing. Is that, I've really, gone through it several times, but I'm still like, every time I go back to it, it's like, I'm learning something else. Because it's like, now I have another opportunity to rethink or approach the book differently with a different set of thoughts. So a lot of what I'm thinking is like, do I really need to... I'm really trying to figure out exactly where do I ease out, where do I ease in, where... That chart makes sense. But I'm also thinking it's like, maybe I could make a 3D chart that follows along where I see the transition. So as I'm saying this, as I'm looking at this, is that it's a case of looking at each frame but drawing a picture, or drawing just one arc of what I see where the hand should be, see how the head should turn, and how the body, but just with a basic line and little notches, and they're both all three of them are simultaneously moving, so I could see how much of a transition, how far am I moving. Because there's a lot of planning trying to make sure the breakdown works in the way I want, and that's right now where I'm at, where I'm trying to figure this out. So I apologize here as I sit, read a little book, and consider. Let me just stop you. Close you. So, but yeah, by all means, I'm still trying to figure out some of what I want to do with this. Really, screen? Why should I not be shocked that that's... Large screen, are you doing the same thing? Of course. My goodness. My head is never on straight. At least that one's been working. But I know that there's a particular thing I want to be doing right now that I can't. It just is not clicking. I swear I could read this book a dozen times and still find something new that I want to bring to it's like I should have known that. My gosh. But brain farts, they occur. We all have them. This is by far one of my favorite books. I have no problem going through it again. It just would be better if I can memorize everything. But again, I learn something new every time I open its pages. Yeah, it's all about the timing and the spacing. Run, jump, skips, wait, anticipation, timing, staggering, wave and whip, dialogue, acting, flexibility, the breakdown, simple overlap, lapping action, not what I want, drawing 4, the 4, drawing formula, run, 3 and 2, wait on a jump, wait, shift, And I have the new enlarged edition, so it's not new, it's new-ish. But I recently bought a new version of this. This is by far a book that I will always keep. When was this one? So the latest edition was redone in 2009. So yes. I had a very old book, mind you. I bought this what is it, back in 2003 is when I bought the first one, and then this one came out with the extended enlarged edition, which I recently said, oh, I'm gonna get that. I definitely recommend it. If you haven't seen this before, how would I actually transition so you can see that? This is one of the books, again, I will always look at and always keep on my shelf wherever I'm working. Body language symmetry. I'm trying to see if there's a portion in this book that will go, this is what you want to do in this particular situation. And that's kind of what I'm trying to look at. Is like I'm trying to find some hint of what it is that I really, really want to do, or something that this book suggests is like, you need to learn this, and I go, oh, now I can apply it to this. So I do apologize. I usually try to be more prepared when I'm on stream, but you know, this is one of those situations where it's bugging me, trying to figure out. I know what I want, but I don't know how to execute it as best as I could. And that's why I'm saying, like, for this particular character, I should probably go into either a 3-dimensional space and create the blocks based upon the initial image, the very first shot, and then use this as a means of, because it does match up. As you can see, I go from that to this where it's drawing. Boom, my drawing matches it. So I bring it in, I create the models in an orthographic view, and then I go, now go perspective, and then have the camera move in the 2 different ways that I was considering. Either more of a fixed movement where I go zoom in, rotate around, zoom out. Or I do the whole fluid motion of fixed direction. So it's always fixated on the object. In this case, our character. But the camera gets close, moves close, but keeps turning and then moves away. But you, sir, you, Phoenix, you my good man, you are awesome. But you know, maybe I'm gonna have to look at. I'm gonna read the book again. That's what I'll end up doing another time, because I'm not gonna get what I want from it as quickly as I'm looking for. I might just, well, let's see first. Do I have Blender updated? And we'll go with that. We'll start there. That's where our world is gonna begin. Is Blender updated? If it is, then we're gonna go. We're gonna see how much I can remember. As I move this off the screen and over to the side. Oh, look at it! It's all misshapen. So Phoenix, how are you doing? Didn't you start up your own stream? What you doing over here? Trying to recruit more to, because maybe that's what I'll do, is like, maybe I've hit my wall for the evening. Maybe it is time to go play some games. I don't know. Doesn't sound bad at all. But if you are playing Marvel's Avengers, I don't have a game. It's one game I do not plan on getting very soon. Because I'm already considering buying a new software for drawing on my iPad, so I can animate on that device too. So it's like, should I not? What am I? I'm looking for Blender. Why am I going through the store? My goodness. Ooh, look at a new sale. Ooh, look at that. Stop. No. Oh goodness, that's right. Hear those. Alright. Go to Blender. Stop opening up everything else. I swear, I don't have, well, maybe I do have a little bit. There's a little bit of AD. Attention deficit. Just a little bit. I don't know, I can just get easily excited about something, go, ooh, and then tangent run. We're opening up the program right now. And like I said, I should be able to make basic objects and the orthographic, and I'm possibly will get what I want, and then I just need to lock the camera look to my object and then move the camera in the arc that I want it to be. So no, I want general. I do want to there we go. Again, I don't have any of the plugins I want to be using to make this more effective for me, so I apologize. I know I'm not going to be moving as quickly as I want. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be sitting here going, that's not where I remember that tool being. Like, it's because I went to school and I learned mainly 3ds Max. So the plugins I have were transitioned a lot of the buttons and things that I knew from 3ds Max. So I could easily just... That way I could easily render and do stuff based off what software I've already used. So, given that... So a lot of this is trying to figure out. I want to... I don't want to paste. Don't need to insert a keyframe, but I do want to insert... Yeah. Modeling, but I want this end. Yep. But I want a flat object. What if I just want a plane? Control toggle, snap while dragging, shift spacebar or 9 for the shortcut. Get the cube, and then poly build. Because what I'm trying to think of is like, I really just want to take my image and project it in the background, and then I can build my 3D model of blocks and shapes, and then take a camera across it and move it so I can do this. My evening's gonna be of me chugging down more NOS and going, I can figure out these buttons again. I can figure out what Blender originally did instead of what my difference of trying to use 3ds Max. Yeah, because I don't want to bother with the... Because it will not be quick to find my... No. Extrude, push, pull, shear, loop, mirror, split, bloom, no. So I deselected, of course. So as you can see up here, the orthographic view, this is what I'm talking about when I said I want to make the flat object of I want to make the 3D blocks that it will fit over the top of the my current character that I know of. And then when we go turn to the side and get to the side view, I can then go, this is how the shape of these blocks will look. And then I can essentially make the camera movement so I can see how the arms shape in the camera movement. Because like I said, the other option is I act it out and I set up a camera and I can do the fixed one where it's like I walk forward, then I spin, then I walk away. Or I have the other one which is more dynamic of like, whoa, just do this little, what is it? I don't know what the ballet term is. Just a little spin. Little spin. Spin to win. Spin, 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 spin. No, I don't need these modes. Call menu select. And of course, yes, block select. If I hold and pull, I can do that. See, this is the part. There it goes. I was going to say, middle mouse button, you should be letting me move around. Space does not. Oh, I didn't. I had the anime play as that. There. Shift is going to make me side to side. That is my zoom is control. Then what is alt? Alt is nothing. Alt is I will shift to orthographic. So we go orthographic and then you see it says users in perspective. That's what essentially what I'm going to do is orthographic gives me that flat shape. Perspective then pulls and makes it three-dimensional. That's essentially what I am doing in this animation. Is I'm taking the 2D image that I currently have and I'm going to be pulling it and going around it and then not necessarily going back to another like orthographic on the back, but here and moving outward. Won't let me select that? Fine. Then I'll select the camera from over here. Nope. Nothing transform. No. How about... Nope. That didn't give me what I wanted either. That's not the one either. One of these will eventually either break the whole thing. Oh, that's select. Well, that's A. Select all, so I don't need to push anything else with it. Quick favorites, no. Oh, this is the I'm gonna paint what sides I want. So okay, that's good to know. We're gonna that's W. It was C before. This is duplicate along a path, so don't need that. There, turn that off. Selection should... Great. My selection is that one. Now here's a question. Is it getting everything? No, it's not getting everything on the back side. Oi! We're on move. Select everything, darn it. Select and deselect based upon point of view. Oh, shift. Oh, that was control anyways. Shift. And it'll still not select you. Shift. Alright, anyways. Okay. What I really want is a plane. What if I just want a plane? Oh, no. Not that kind of plane. Where's the plane? No. No. Look, there's a little arrow below this, and it's like, I want to know what's hidden inside. Fine. You give me something... No. No, you won't. No, you won't. Well, I guess the one thing I can do is, let's... bring this. Yeah, I can just bring both. So let's do this file. Export. Of course it did that. Do do do. Do 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 do. I will do that. Do 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 do. No. Something weird like that. How about that? That works for me. 2D image to 3D model. So we have that rendered out. And in that form, we want Blender back open. Let's see if I can just go to the X. We will go back to selection. And we will just tell it to do import. I should have looked at these and... Yep, of course. Because what I end up... No, that's not what I wanted. Viewport, compositor. I know I'm going to have to make it a texture and just go project this, put this on here, project it from the X. Object mode. Annotation, no, scale, transform, rotation, move, none of those. Why are you locked on that? Yep, not what I wanted. All right, well, I guess while I'm here, might as well just go, hey. I don't want an image sequence. I just want to bring in and project it, which that's what that image is showing. File, import image plane. Import. Wait, what? What? Cisco file import. That must be a different version, an old version. Object. See, I don't need... These are all files based upon their 3D software. Oh, do I have to go turn it on in a preference? Because that would be just the kick in the pants I don't want right now. Edit preference, add-on. Yeah, I do. I have to go turn it on as a preference. See, this is why I had everything in that nice little... Alright. Add-ons. Alright. We will search for images. There it is. Turn it on. Now I can do that. Yay. Let's see if we close that file, import. That's why I couldn't find it. Because all these little things, like, it does not like, it did not want to bring in any of my old stuff into this new. It's like, such a jerk. That's why I wish I did not uninstall the previous ones. Like, I would just be working inside that one right now. And I would slowly transition and save everything, going, okay, these are the features I want to make sure are in the new one. I'm going to have to make sure all my preferences get saved to a proper file so I can pull it into the next update without issue. That's what you get when you take forever to get to that next trend. You sit on one and go, I really like how everything's functioning in this. Where did I put it? Desktop. Don't give me this crud. Absolute plain. What the? Okay, I do see JPEGs. How did I not save this? I probably didn't save it correctly for what I wanted. What are you doing? Keep throwing it over there. Sketches. JPEG. Did it really not save it? It must not have. Save. My goodness, I don't think it actually properly saved it. That's why. And there it is. What are you doing to me? Now, can I go back to this? No, I can only do this. It is a bit annoying. Oh, okay, it projected on both sides. I was like, that's annoying if it's only on this one. But no, it's on this. This is not only that, but this is the orientation I want. So we're good. All right, step one. Wait, what? I don't need the negative. I want the positive, right? Yes. All right. All right. We got this. So now what I can do, select the object. We can start moving it. All right. Clearly, I need to go, no, lock this one. Unlinked data view area. How about make it just deselect? Well, I don't. Lock it. All right, fine. Cube. So how do we want to go and? I'm really gonna need to lock this thing so it's like you're not an object I can accidentally move. Well, yeah, I don't want it renderable. I'm just trying to use it as reference. Nope. Nope. See, yeah, I can change its orientation, but can I tell it to not move? No.
Not move. Stop moving. You fail me yet again.
Come on, come on, come on. There has to be a way. Fine. Oh, that stack. Crud, really? That's... Because that's what I'm not seeing. 'Cause, like, yeah, they don't have that... It's not on this initial screen because there's a section where you can actually change the hierarchy and go, nope, I want this to be this, this, this. Where are you? Is the question. Is the question I have for you. I'm just gonna move it back. Edit mode. So I'm probably gonna. This is not gonna be as quickly as I want, but this will get what I'm trying to do. So we're gonna go there. We're not worrying about the thickness of our character just yet. So I'm going back and forth. And we're literally just going to make this block fit over the top of that one. We'll get this. So this way I can make a camera movement. Really need to move that off of the middle mouse button for myself. Because I really don't like it. Or I need a new mouse because this middle mouse is not working. Middle mouse! Haha! So again, I'm doing this so I can have a nice understanding of the transition that I'm trying to do with the camera from a 2D object. So my 2D character here, that's the artist, drawing that they created originally. Alright, so then change thickness. The thickness. Like I said, I'm keeping this object very flat, but the back clearly comes to there. We got that, yes. We have the back because this portion comes in a little bit. And our orthographically, we're going to not see these little additions, these other aspects. And of course, the front end comes in a little bit because it's top of the chest and like the narrowing. All right. So again, when we look at it from this way, we don't notice it all too much. So we're going to make another cube. No. We're going to move you. Oh. We're just going to line you out first. Dang it. I keep hitting shift when I want it to do or keep hitting the space bar when it should be like the little hand movement. That's another aspect that I'm gonna go. I need to change that to space bar so I can take care of the what is it? Take care of that aspect so I can easily. And I know there's a way to tell it, like just let me select on the other side, not just this one. But it's a feature I have to turn on. So right now, I'm forced to break out of the... So I know that the back end will open up a bit more, because this is the top of the hips, so... And I think I'm good with the front end. So, we're going to go to the X, and we're going to make sure we're shaping this and this point inward enough so it fits the top of the hip. So it comes right underneath here. Boom. We're making the most basic of shapes of our character so we can have some camera angles to work with. So this is a quick rendition so I can create a form of which I can rotoscope my character, because I can use this shape as my means of translating this two-dimensional character into a 3D camera, because I'm in need of creating as much information so I can keep the shape of this two-dimensional character as I shift him into 3D. So, which now is already getting to my point. It's like, these need to be further out because we're looking to push beyond. And again, it's very basic shape, and I will give him the depth behind this flat, because as you can see, I want the back to arc inward as it comes out to the butt into the front end of the body. I could make this more dynamic where the inside, where the stomach is, comes in further, but I think it's enough to come down and outward. And I'm going to change the color of each of these blocks, so it'll be one is red, one is blue, and then it's a blue connects to a red, and it's always blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. So like this major body will be full red, whereas for the torso will be blue, then the upper arms will be blue, and the head will be blue, but then the forearm will be red, and so on and so forth. So, okay. So again, we're using orthographic, and we're transitioning to perspective, and we're going to be using the camera to shift and get this character in a more understandable form. So then, create that, and we're not gonna go, we're gonna boom. We're gonna just create some of these objects because clearly I need more. We're just gonna make sure we make them from the same. There we go. So we got a few blocks. Nope. Stop hitting the animation player. Nope. Nope. All right, I think I'm getting used to this again, but it is still very hard that it's not utilizing the settings I'm so used to, which is essentially making Blender work similar to. So we're gonna do this for this block and there. All right, so I have all my objects made. That's good. And now I need to pull them forward. So we're gonna select fine, edit mode to object mode, where then I can go object. No. Don't you dare. Okay. I see. I created them all inside of that one object, so now I'm forced to actually do this way. Which is good and bad. Because one, it does allow me where I don't accidentally select my background that I'm working with. what? It also then just makes us a pain. Because now, mode, extend existing. This should hopefully be what I'm looking for. Nope. Nope, it's not. It lied. Subtract existing. Inverse. Intersect existing. Oh, I just want you to select all. Select all. Just, How about that? Select all. And then I can, nope, control. Deselect what I don't need to move. There, now everything else. Move along, move along. So we can keep it out here. So like I said, we're taking some liberties. We're trying to transition this. We're gonna make it work. Nope, nope, nope. Stop in any play. Shift. It is not spacebar, dude. Okay. Oh, I did it again. Spacebar. This is similar. Select all by trait by loose challenge a face. No. I want you to select everything when that I can't see. Darn it. I know there's a feature for it, but you're just being mean. But okay, we're just gonna there. Part by part, we should get there. Again, this is not the ideal. There's a lot more hotkeys I know I can be pushing. Things that it can easily give me. So I'm going to have to keep that one down because I'm going to need to. Because I'd love to just stay in this view and keep doing this. But it doesn't work when you select only one side. So I want to select the side that I can't see. Select box, tweak. You know what? Select behind. I know what I'm looking at. Tell me how to turn that feature on. How do I select vertices that are directly under the other? I like to select blah, 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 blah. Just tell me the tool. Just tell me if it's a button. Alright, looks like I have to read the manual because I know it's a feature. Is this menu even updated? Select face, select edge, select. It's like, no. And then there's, yeah, see, it's missing that one little extra, limit selection to visibility. I want to change that. View. Because selection. Yeah, this manual is not updated. If that feature is that button, no. Edit mode 3, 1, 2, 3, shift, multiple select mode, X expand contract selection. Really? So if I no. Yeah, you see, you're not selecting on the other side, jerk. That doesn't do what I want. Do I have to turn on the X-ray view? Is that where it is? Impact selection 2 when enabling. So it's X-ray mode that I have to turn on. How do I turn on the X-ray? that doesn't. No. 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 Oh, I just dumped myself. Okay. I want X-ray. I need them X-ray specs. Would it be terrible to start talking like Clinton as a person that's looking for his X-ray specs? Would that be too inappropriate? Maybe. So I'll just keep that. Family friendly. Gotta be clean. No jokes like that. You can say all the dad jokes you want. Can't be. Switch select modes. I have the vertices, the edges, and faces. I don't have the one that says limit selection to visibility to toggle it on and off. I want to toggle it on and off. Actually, that's one thing I need to put in Blender. Because that's one feature is like, what version is this exactly? 2.93. Okay. The version I'd been using prior to this was like 2.7, and there's been significant changes, which is why this is such a jarring thing. So I'd been using it for so long. 2.8 had updates that were very similar. It's like, oh, it didn't give me too much, so I didn't bother. And now 2.9 came out, and it's like, oh, we just completely... Which is great, because the grease pencil is awesome. But it takes getting... I have to remember. I have to get my word I can't think of. See if I can find any plugins that allow me to have more 3ds Max, so I can keep that mentality. Because that's what I keep doing, is I keep hitting shift, I keep hitting control and shift and all these and expecting a different thing to happen. Alright, so... Actually, I don't need to change behind, but I just need to tell it that I'm looking for a 2.93. I want to know where it is in this version. Shift less mount button, but whoa. Box selection is B, which I get. C is the circle selection. Select random checker, select blank, select similar, select. I don't want to select random. That seems like a very... What? I guess I'm gonna have to look into what this select random is. Is that really select random? Edit mode, menu, select into select random. Select random control points. Wyatt? Modeling has just become more of a random sport. You think you want to work with that vertice? No, you're going to work with the vertice on the other side, underneath in that fold, suddenly. I don't understand why you would put in a random select. I must be misunderstanding something about that. But select more or less, select next, previous. Those all make sense, yeah, because you want to select the next vertice or get the path or something like that. Those make sense. Pick shortest path. Select more or less. I feel like they took out something they shouldn't have, because I want to be able to select the vertice behind it, but I want to be sitting in orthographic view when I'm doing it, because like I know what I want. I just want those two vertices, and I want to move this, because I want it to shape up towards the object I have in the back. Tweak, circle. That's drag. Default, this is orientation selection. Oh. They really made that. They really made this disappear. So there's the box and select. There's select random. Checker deselect. Select every nth. Sharp edges, similar amount. Adjacent faces, regions. Well, I guess if I really think about it, if I go over to edge mode, I can go and select that edge. And I'm not trying to select two things, but I select that edge and I can still shift and do the same feature. The problem is I just go that to that. So trying to make this large random selection, it's not as effective as just staying in this view and going select, and then making sure it does get that, because I can't select even the edge from this point. I have to still go out of orthographic into perspective, and then essentially shift and move. Still not effective, but it is getting the job done. It's just not as efficient. There has to be a method. I swear. Limit selection to visibility. Let's see if I just went select visible Blender 2.93. 2.93. And just tell me where it is. It's over on the left? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Toggle X-ray. So now they put it on the opposite side of the screen instead of right next to where because they had it right here next to where it's like vertice, edge, and face, and it was right there. No, it's all the way on the other side now. All right, so this should go by a lot faster now. It should. Yeah. Perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. I finally found it. You know, it just takes a while to figure out where it is. And that's really the difference between any 3D software. They all do the same thing. The rendering software might be a little bit different because they'll calculate light, based upon how the programmers decide to put in the algorithm, and based upon also the software that's been developed, like ray tracing compared to that of Cycles, which is Cycles is used inside of Blender. I'm not entirely certain on what the true difference is. It's just that they're both calculating light. And based upon parameters you tell it. The efficiency and which it understands the calculation and how fast it does it is really based upon the processor as well as the algorithm itself. In the end, 3D is nothing more than it's just strictly a mathematical equation being figured out. Now this we will eventually, but I need to make everything first based upon the initial positioning, and we'll shift, middle mouse click. We got it that time. We didn't. Oh wow, that was right. That's already pretty close to where I wanted it. Trying to make these oversized. Make sure that where they fit in very nicely. So again, all I have to do is just have Google open and going, where is this tool? Where'd they put it now? I know it exists. I know what I'm looking for. Like I said, that's really the difference between all these softwares when it comes to 3D. Is just learn where the tool is, and it's all got such a. I'm gonna move these ones back so I can see. But yeah, all 3D software is the same. It's understanding how to render, how to create an polygon object, how to make a curve, with curves, and just understanding those concepts and that's really what you need to understand when it comes to any of this. Is understand what it means to create an object in curves. What is the difference between polygon, a polygon shape, and organic shapes that are made with, made with those set curves. So a lot of what I've done is a lot more polygon, mainly because, again, I was working in 3ds Max when I was in college. So a lot of my understanding comes from that perspective of things. All right, so we're going to turn off the X-ray. Because what I want... Actually, I do want the X-ray, because I want to go back into this. So I can do weird things like this and go, I'm going to select all of this one. Not what I meant. So now part of what I get to figure out is, let's go ahead and put where I believe these objects are going to be. You know what? I'm realizing, like, I don't. Yeah, that's not all what I wanted. Let's see. Can I? Nope. It won't do what I want. Yeah, I don't have a middle mouse button on this pen, so crud. Won't work as I expect. Darn. So I do have to use my mouse. I feel like I broke something. And I more than likely did when I tried to do that. Oh, hooray. Not what I want. I don't want to effectively. Oh, and the shift makes it so slow. Okay. What did I break? Did I toggle something off? I go into pen mode. Does that change it? No, it doesn't. Then give it back to me. Yep. And then... Again. This is gonna keep shifting it back and forth. Like, oh, you mean? Okay, good. It's where the center of this overall object is, but that's not. I don't need a fuss with that. I'm at 24 frames per second. Really? Ah, the animation. The animation. That is becoming an awfully big nuisance for me. There, it's back again. I don't know why it disappeared, but it just wants to be weird to me. Scale wise, no, we're gonna make it. It should be. Keep it a little bit further. Oh, that's right. Keep it about. It should be further forward than it is back. Okay, good. Good. I did it again. Get out of the animation. Stop animating. Okay, and then again, we're gonna move this one. I may have made that a little too wide. Not gonna lie, I think I did. Then we got the forearm. We're making cubes, not rectangles. Even though it might still work. But believe more so, I'm looking for cube shapes. Okay. So again, we're doing this as a means of, we're going to render the camera movement and get an idea of how I want. So what I need to now take is the 3D object. Nope. The 3D objects here and make them into what I really need them to be. So this is going to be wider than it is taller. Scale. This expands beyond that because the arms are palms. But we only have, this is the only palm. We don't have the fingers as a portion to it yet. Nope. Don't want the native, want the Z-axis. Can't do it from that end too. There we go. So where do you sit in this world, head? About there. Scale you up. So you should be more blocky. Now this, we still have to do some transition of the back of the head, because it's actually, this object is like this. So we're trying to make sure that that's in there. That understanding of it. All right, we're getting there. Don't hit spacebar, hit shift. Look at us go. See, we're getting. Nope. That's the merge button. G, that's what I want. And what I can do. There we are. Now this does not need to go out as far, but does need to go out far enough. And this top side meets up with that Essentially, I'm making the buttocks of our character right there. So this box is bigger than this. The upper arm is obviously bigger than the forearm, which then the hand is wider than the forearm, but not as tall as we should be able to see. But it's nearly as tall because of how we made the object. So, all right, so we got that. Now, I just want you to start, sir. All right, now here we go. We're gonna go Y, and we need to make sure it's somewhat on par with at least that way. And then scale wise, we're gonna make it as thick as the other side. So the character is symmetrical. Because we like symmetry to the most of it. And we're making this character so we can be as understanding as possible. And how this object, how this body, this two-dimensional body forms. So we got that. Excellent. We can just stick here and select you, move you into position, which is relatively the same. And then we're gonna go make you the widest, just like the other side. There we go. So these are our blocks. I could go a little bit further. I mean, essentially, I can make this character a bit more, what is it? More precise to what I want, but I don't really need to. Okay, so we got that. We're gonna go with that one, back to X, so we can keep making these other lines. Because this is the orientation of this shape of the head. And there, see, visibility, X-ray mode helps. Because the head has this particular shape. Wow, wow, see? And now we look at the world and we go, you are just... It does not make sense. Because like that backline, those should be on par with one another. It shouldn't be like that. So if anything, this actually has to be down here to make more sense. See, we're already taking like, yeah, see, we're making it work. See, and this is not essentially how a head should be. But that's the two-dimensional head that we're trying to take and say, this is how we pull you out of that form. Okay. So we're actually going to turn that off. We're going to go to the camera. Now, camera. This is what I want you to do. This cube, I want you to face it. I want you to... Orientation default. No. How about I just look up real quick. Lock camera to object. Just tell me where it is. We'll make it easy. Lock. Lock camera to object. Lock camera to view. No. I want it to always be facing this object. So when I move it and I say this is where you start, this is where you end. suddenly, like when I sit there and see animation, you want to make sure this is sitting at 0. And you can already see that the camera comes up in its orientation of where it wants to be based upon that info. But that's big. No. Camera. Hello, camera. That's what I wanted. I think I had the wrong item select in the first place. Viewport display. No. No. Relations? Parent. No. Why is it... Okay, and we'll just say this is 2D. Character. And it still doesn't show up. Alright, fine. Yeah, I'm already reading this. Is like, this is somebody that was like, I've been using 2.8 and where'd they put it? Where have they put this object? I don't want to move it. Just want to lock camera to view icon. Lock camera view to object. This seems to be more of a difficult thing, a difficult request I have for it. View camera set active object as camera. Yeah, I want to animate the camera, but I want to make sure that where it is pointing, like it is kind of now, that it's always oriented towards the object. So... let's see, now I'm curious that if I do... Nope! No, what'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do to me? That's not at all. Camera. I'm curious if this thing is like just... Wait a second. Options. Why is the camera... Why is it doing this to me? I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Ambient balloon. This is all the rendering settings. So no. No, that's not what I want. Toggle the camera view. Orthographic perspective. Orthographic perspective. Orthographic. You can see the difference and how it wants to shift the... That's essentially what we're doing, is we're taking objects that are orthographic And we're trying to say, nope, make it perspective. I'm disappointed. I need to make this. I want you to go back. Yes, I don't need you on. I want this. Maybe I should reword this and say camera look at object. Yep. Camera to, yeah, track object. That's what I'm looking for. That's good. That's closer. Constrain the camera to look at an object. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Go away. Track 2. So it is a feature. Yeah, it's a modify. It is in here. Right? Deform physics generate. Maybe not in this version of it. There should be another section. Q. Object constraints. Tracking. Track 2. There we go. That's what I wanted. Track 2. Cube. Okay. Influence, world, target, tangent, Z. I want it all. Why are you being cruel to me? Alright, so there's a certain feature that I guess I'm missing. Back to target. So what am I trying to just... I'm gonna target the Z cube, and you're not doing it. I guess maybe let's well, let's see, because I'm still in edit mode. Let's go to object. That's why. Constraints. Oh my goodness, it's being a jerk to me. It's because I was in the wrong mode. So, now that I don't need this. I had the wrong object selected anyways. My goodness. My goodness. So, how this works now. There we go. Yay. Now. So, if I move this. There we go. This is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Just what I want to see. Sorry, let's go here. And I want to... I don't want physics. Camera. Can change this, and I can even change it from orthographic, which I'm wondering if I wonder if that's a feature I can animate. That should be an animate. Yeah, animate the property to go from orthographic to perspective. That's what I need. But first, I need to start where it's just looking directly at this object. So we're gonna go. We know we need it about on par with its chest. We're gonna go out further. We're also then go, give me this, and we're gonna even go, give me that. So that's part of what we need is this needs to start off. Start off with very similar. Because we can reposition this wherever we want. Because right now the camera is off center from where the full render is. But there we go. We're making leeway. We're making headway. Because head is the way. Wait, that's no. Full speed ahead. Full. Of course, that head is like what? But this is looking good. So z-axis wise, we want. I should be able to zero it out. Where do I find output properties? View layer property? No. World properties? Is this volume viewport? No. Option transform workspace? Nope. So what if I want to be precise? Maybe, isn't that? There it is. And yes, there you are. So let's go ahead and say just 0. I see, yeah. So if I do 0, 0, it obviously does all this. You can enter, yeah, there we go. All right, so with that, I'm actually gonna, because I don't need this really anymore. Cube, I want you to be 0. 0. So this will give me the what I want in the end. Is I want these both lined perfectly up, and I will create a. So there we go. See, that was one thing I knew was the same. N brings up my little transforms. So we got everything. We got this spot on, and this is the beginning. So I need to take this and go to 0. 0. This is your summary. All right, so with that, I need to tell it I want to make this a initial keyframe. So we're going to go to N, and we're going to go to 18. We're going to make it just a solid distance away. You know what? Let's go 20. Just because I want it to feel as flat as possible, and we're also going to have to change the camera orientation from that to orthographic, and now you're being a jerk about it. So then we go 50, 100. It's what do you mean you? It's because orthographic scale. So we go 20 because we know that's the orientation where it should be. And then orthographic scale needs to be what? 20? Probably more of like 16. And we're even going less than that. Let's make it 14. That looks about more right. So again, we have this flat object. That's what we want to start with. And we're going to hit keyframe that. So we said the original was 80 frames at. So I want my end. I'm going to change this end, and I'm going to make it no more than 80 frames. Want timing. Is it not going to let me change the frame rate? Okay, no, baby. I might have to do this based on more so the idea of because I'm doing this strictly for orthographic perspective, then into because that's part of my transition is that, and I'm gonna do orthographic. So we're just gonna make it. I'm not gonna worry too much about keying exactly to the frames of what I have, because this is reference for just that movement, that transition. So we'll go 20 frames in. And by this point, I feel I want to have changed to perspective. And I want to have zoomed in to 15. Is that right? Are you keyframing this at all, system? I don't think you are. It did, but it's not. Okay. Because I did not have. So we got 20 meters at this and this. I need to. That's what I need to do. I need to go in and say insert keyframe. So by the time it gets here, we got perspective change, and now we're going 15. So you're going to see this snap. Not what I wanted. I don't want it to snap. I want it to flow and move. Because the first portion is it's just getting kind of pulled out of the piece of paper this way. And so the first transition is a little bit of a zoom, and then we go into the rotation movement and a fixed distance. So come on, we got this. We know I know what I want. Wait a second. I have the camera selected because I'm just animating this, so I don't need anything else. Don't need to change the focal length, but I do want to change your position on the X because I want you to be closer. Nope, don't go hitting random buttons there, buddy. What? Oh, it's not even a nice little smooth transition. It's just pop. So what, maybe there, okay. So we're back to that. I'm gonna go 10 frames in. We're gonna change orthographic to perspective. So now we've gone from that. Now we go from there to where we're going to go insert the keyframe right here. Transition at this point, 15. So again, we've gone and yanked our character out. Perspective, orthographic to perspective, and then we're going inward. Which then we now have the fixed position of 15 away from the object. Right? No, actually I should be closer by this point. Because I want him to fill up the... Yep. I want it to be like that. That seems about right. So let's just go ahead and make that 11 meters. That seems a bit closer. 11.5. We're gonna tweak it. All right, 11.5. So now we're at a fixed distance, and we're gonna do the rotation, the Doppler rotation. So we're there, and we know by this frame we are going to be. Should be about 6 meters away. Does that seem right? And we're also going to be rotating around. How about we go into... I need the movement tool. I've selected. Want to do G. G. No. I just want to move you along the Z and X axis. Or move you along the X and Y axis. Not really. All right, well, let's put this in here. We're going to go. No, we're going negative. No. Negative. Negative. No, -6. -6. To then, what is it? Z should be still there, but I think I'm going to go like 1 meter up. Because I'm doing this in meters, of course. So, because by this time we should be at 0. Okay. And by the 70th frame, we are now going to be, X should be -5. And the Y, we're going to be at a -3 now. And our last orientation should be Y is 0 again. But then we're back out to 15. Darn it. Again, should be -15. To then we'll extend this another 10 frames. But not do it like that. We'll just go out to 100. And then that last transition should be outward, back towards more so like negative, because we're on the other side, -30 frames, because we're now oriented this way. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and turn off the keyframe. We'll go play our animation. So there's the transition I'm trying to do with my character. Of course, I need to. It's not perfect, but this gives me a lot better idea of what it is effect-wise I'm trying to do. And that also then goes, if I go in back into this and see how this is, I need to be more of like a -8. So I can keep the, well, actually, -7. What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you do that for? What? Okay, anyways. You should be -7.7? That's close. It's probably 7.8 because the big thing I want is top of the head. Oh, no, going the wrong direction. You know what? We're gonna make it 7.5 because I do want it a little bit above and off. So we got that orientation down to be there. So as you can see, is like we're going here, and then boom, perspective, zoom in. Whereas for like this is good, this is not, because now we're cutting off part of the head. And I could do that, or because of what I have going on, as we watch this camera is moving in a linear path to where I'm telling it to go. You can see like that's apex, but I need it to not be there. I need it to be negative 5.8. That's pretty close. Possibly on the X being about 5.8. No, it needs to be 5.8, not negative 5.8. So we're still in front of the object, 5.8. And see, there we go. We got a pretty good arc because we can easily see that it's going from here to there. Keep the head in. Do a nice little turn around to where I could do something similar to where I said, like, I still want when I get to this side, I still want the head to be pretty close. So we're moving, we moved pretty far away. At the same time, it's like, once I get to this position where the hand is coming across the object, which now I'm seeing that I need to be further in. I do need to be further in because as it comes out, it's not as effective to have it up that high. So do I need to be? Because this is where the hand is pretty darn close at this stage. And I've gone a little too high. I don't see the only shift is really going to be a 0.4. Yeah, it's a 0.4 because I want the hand as close to the middle as possible, so it looks like it changed it enough for me. Right, that's good. That works for me. That works really well. Boom, we're right into this where you can see that the hand is coming across the screen just like how we want. This portion right here, it looks like it lines up very well. So my idea of 0.4, perfect. It keeps it oriented. The head gets cut off though, which is a part of this transition that I did not render in mine. And I go, I see that now. So then when we go out here, you can see that where that hand is still far off, but we got the other hand in perspective because like we still have one that's disappeared, that's missing. Now what I can do is because this and this are taking such... Actually, is it arcing it? Because it's coming out. And then... I guess if I do go here, I can either... Do I want to bring in the head, bring it in a little bit closer? Because I do have this, then it finishes its movement. So do I put in another set of bit of information? So then it goes like this. Actually, I think this probably works pretty darn well for what I'm trying to aim for. Cause yeah. So this is the movement of what I'm trying to do from 2-dimensional to a 3-dimensional object to then zoom out for my character, because I'm pulling it in and I'm centering it up. And of course, what I need to do is give them legs. After like right there, they have legs. So there, the legs are still missing to give them legs. Because the original drawing doesn't have anything below the waist, below like the hips, just that upper part of the leg, and then just cut off. But this is a huge visualization for my animation of what I'm trying to do 2-dimensionally with a hand-drawn picture. So essentially, I've worked out how I want the camera to move, and then now I have a good reference of all of the shape change that's occurring, where the head, the body of the original design of the character, and that way I can shift and transition it just right with all these objects. One of the things I should do is I should probably, one, finish making the full hands and maybe even put in the legs, and that way I have those even in perspective, so I go, okay, this is full render of how I expect to see the whole body. And but again, this is the animation I'm trying to do. I'm trying to animate the camera around a 2D object. 2D object that's being made into 3D. And at the same time, like, the head goes from here to downward. So there's parts of this character that need to be animated because, like I said, hand palm upward needs to go facing outward, as well as then take it to the, I'll increase this so you can see that. And even, I'm gonna stop it so we can all see the movement of this object, movement of that camera. So back to 1. So again, we start off with, this is the orthographic view because that's technically a 2-dimensional object. We then take 10 frames where I change it to perspective. So you can see the slight shift. There's like slight shift. Where I change the camera and go, okay, now we're in a perspective view. And then animate the rest of the way. Because that's really what I'm trying to do, is orthographic to perspective. So 2-dimensional object to 3-dimensional object. So this is a very simple action where you can see how I'm envisioning my camera movement. It's not incredibly clean, but it is really darn close to what I'm aiming for. And this feels really good that I got this with a little bit of a struggle in trying to figure out my buttons again in Blender because I don't have my 3ds Max plugin to make it closer to my knowledge. But that's not a big barrier because I knew what tools I wanted. I just had to go look it up real quick as I'm doing them. But I feel really good now. I feel this is really, really nice to see that happening. So essentially, we have this animation, and I want to make, come on, let's see if we can put them side by side. I want you larger. I'm gonna make you smaller, so you can have a nice look at what it is. And I'm opening. So, and because they're both running at different paces, but this is both animations. So I have a 3D model of the smooth movement of that transition of what I want. And then I have my current play blast going on Krita to show you the object, the 2D object that I'm trying to render in the same motion. So I got the camera movement, which I can use this as my base shape so I can have the deformation appropriate to what I want. And like you can see, I even cut off part of the top of the head to keep the hand as a swipe clean, which I was not doing in this. Now that is something I can definitely flub in my favor if I really want. Because there's also one aspect is I'm keeping a particular millimeter for this camera. So I'm keeping it like 50 millimeter. Whereas for essentially what I'm doing is when I get to this point, I'm actually telling it to narrow that millimeter to a different form, which one means that I have to pull the camera further away and I get more of an elongated arm effect. So that's something I could look into, is changing the blender millimeter from one point to another. Say like probably at stage like at the 20 frame or 30 frame mark, the millimeter also is then needs to be animated and changed. So I can get similar to what I'm trying to do for this, so I can keep the head and then just have it kind of look like mimic the aspect of like it's not I think because that's what I'm trying to do, and when I'm so you can know what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here essentially is this focal length. Focal length I need to change. That needs to be different. That needs to be altered, so I can get that nice little depth, and that also will because now I've physically moved the camera where I want, but I think what I'm also doing is I might be keeping a consistent arc. How is this? I'd be keeping a consistent arc across this camera. But I'd be instead, there's another aspect of changing focal length. So the smaller the focal length, the more narrow the cone is that the camera's looking at, which essentially zooms in. And you get a different perspective because you can get a huge depth, a field of depth going on when you do that. Field of depth, depth of field. Depth of field. We're going to say words backwards. Makes sense. But yeah, essentially like using this portion, where I can change the depth of field, but you can do the similar thing with focal length to get that kind of depth perspective, that object of change. So I'm thinking I will probably make a secondary camera and work on that and have both cameras to essentially be my, this is, which one do I want more? Do I want this straight cut one, which is exactly the physical movement of where the camera should be for this overall, or do I want it to be a clean arc that's consistent in distance in a circle around? So do complete arc, but change the focal length by this point to its maximum, and then change it back out to its what it was at the beginning. So beginning to end, and get that same Doppler effect by either focal length change or physically moving the camera around. So just like anything, like this is a Doppler effect with your camera view that I've done. So feel good. And like I said, with that working as intended, we got this one then is a nice little reference to see side by side what I'm trying to achieve. So I have two different forms of. So this will allow me to do the rotoscope, because I can use the shadow and idea of like the frames on this, and I can essentially go, well, on you, pause right here. I'm going to take that frame and I want it to be my 45th frame. Or I can go, let's go just below, like here. And this is essentially equivalent to, we're going to stop this one. This is equivalent to this frame. See what I mean? That I can then go, okay, I snapshot that, I bring it into my, art software here. So I have that snapshot, and I go draw this with the because I know what that block is, I know where the hips are, I know where the head is. These are all based upon that. Draw that, and I can draw the character with the similar art style, but with the correct depth and shape that's consistent with the original front end view of the character. So this is how I keep my shape change and be consistent throughout it, so the object does not get does not get weird. I mean, it'll be weird because it's hand drawn from every frame, but I can essentially use this to keep the shape consistent based upon how I want the camera to show the audience the movement. So, with a 3D camera used and a very simple object, here I am. I've created what I set out to do, is the whole orientation. So there we go. Feels good. Feels real good. Now I need to save this. So this is animation, transition, camera movement. So as I've been talking to you, I will save this. I can keep this for further reference, as well as, next time when I kick up on Thursday, because I've been going at this for almost 4 hours. That's pretty awesome. I'm very happy with the work I did. I've had way more energy drink than I anticipated. We'll see how well we get to bed tonight. Come on. Save the Blender file for me. Saved. Excellent. So we have an animated camera. And like I said, I'm going to make a secondary one that has a fixed arc, but change the focal length as it moves on by, and see what kind of a difference, what effect and what feeling I get from that particular one compared to this one. Because as it goes, I made, as you can see, I made more of a fixed movement, or I'm talking about like doing a fixed movement, but changing the focal length to get a similar effect of what the fluid movement, that I created. So I'm going for orthographic perspective to then swinging the camera really close by the object and then pulling away and zooming out. So we got all of this in there. So again, I did this more fluid movement with a little bit of like, I did a fixed lens. So what I'm going to go into next is I'm going to do this fixed movement, but I'm going to do fixed movement plus focal length change. And that's what I will create. And on Thursday, I'll show you what I mean, so we can see both camera movements that we're trying to get around this character to make a 2D character, 3-dimensionally, the hand-drawn version, and get a really nice, clean look into this transition and clean transition of shape of this character. So, and that's also another thing, is like I might need to have the last frame also in on this, so the object itself, the character here, does a little bit of morphing into the other, or I just keep it consistent and don't worry about how this drawing of the character, this hand drawing, matches up with the final frame of the other. So there's still some change, still some ideas that have to be, hashed out of how do I really see that last bit of the transition as I'm fading from my animation into the real, into the real world at the final frames. Do I see the back of the character meshing and becoming one, or do I just see it becoming like this pull away and just kind of zoom in, zoom out, kind of transition into our character that's in the real world. So, and that's part of what I play. So I this is, again, as I said earlier, the outro is going to be very crucial to how the feeling of going from this moment of open to then seeing even more and being like even greater possibility of seeing the art transform with our narration. So again, thank you for joining. I'm very happy. Like Phoenix, again, if you haven't checked out Phoenix TV, he is streaming right now. I believe I might end up rating him here in a moment, but please, by all means, he's a great guy. He's been very helpful to me. He's very helpful to the whole Crimson Coalition that I'm part of. So please, and also check out the Twitter for Crimson Coalition. There's always a bunch of information going up there, letting you know when others are doing, what we're doing as a group. And then, of course, we have so many other people. What I should do is I should probably put in like another part of the Discord, but right now down below is my personal Discord. So we're transitioning. But down below is my own personal Discord for BoogieMan Inked. If you'd like to join, please, by all means, jump in. I hopefully will get a message letting me know to change you from just an entity into it to a critter. So, because I'm pretty sure I set it to be critter, but if it doesn't, I need to know, and so I can change that. But if you want to join in, by all means, please do. I'm going to be developing more and more of that, as well as like there's so many other things that I'm going to be working on too. Like that's why I didn't get more done on this animation, because I got a website I'm working on. I have other projects, livelihood. So, and the main thing is I really enjoy spending this evening here and going over this work, so you can either appreciate animation and more sense of it, or feel that you can take what I'm talking about and again, feel free to ask me any questions. I would love to clarify anything if it's you don't understand, or if you're curious about understanding a bit more, just hit me up. So with that, I'm gonna have that ready, queued in, and as I always say, thank you again for the lovely evening. I've enjoyed every moment with you. I hope you have too. I will see you Thursday at 7 p.m. roughly, because hopefully I'll be more awake and oriented when I first start, or I'll be doing the same, slamming a few energy drinks, and by this point no, I'm still steady. We're still good. So again, thank you. And this is the BoogieMan dancing on out of here. I'll catch you critters later. Bye.
sound pretty distracted.